Oh yes, we have
expert
that.
because I did it once.
That
and
was so good. We
Yeah.
you sent it to us.
Yeah.
Heather, you
How
want
does
to
that
sit?
happen?
Heather, you
Or
sit
should I
here.
just going to see
Sit
the
here,
list
it's more
again?
comfortable. You sit there.
Well, I don't know that, but
Is this
okay,
a movie?
never mind.
I
No.
don't know.
It's just
All right.
Bring on the girls.
the girls.
That's a musical, isn't it?
Oh,
Oh, okay. Is
I
it
don't
going on
know.
memory?
What's
Is that a
this-
musical? Bring
what's
on the
this
girls.
list we're talking about?
Your own personal
I
memory.
guess it's your own, Daddy.
So, oh, you just gotta turn that on a second and just.
Cindy knows how to turn it on.
Maybe last time we were at Kendall.
Is it on?
Last time we were at Kendall, why we were sitting around after dinner, and Bobby wasn't there, but Sue and Molly and Jane and I, that's Mary and Bob. And at 9 o'clock, we were just kind of reminiscing and laughing. And 9 o'clock, Sue jumps up, Bob and I are sitting there, and goes like, "No more stories. I don't want you to tell any more until I get home tomorrow." She had an early train, I guess, to catch. So anyway, that prompted some, I don't know, you and Cindy talking about doing something like that. And if my voice lasts, we will do it all right. But Bob, I thought what I'd do is I'd just give you some, I don't have a lot to give on Bob because he was 5 or 6 when I left for Westtown, so after that we never lived together. It was just visits or summer or that sort of thing. So I don't have a lot of criminal things for you. But
And after that, next time I really saw you was when you were in that sailor outfit on the picture in the book back
Yeah.
here on our steps at the Sartain Street in Philadelphia, our first house.
Oh, that's his favorite picture.
So my recollection of my beginnings, that's about one of the first things I remember. Prior to that, I don't think I remember anything. But because of that, why we haven't had a lot of time. We should have got together and phoned each other a lot more, but we just didn't. And so anyway, I thought what I do is I write down some things that reminded me that involved both of us. And one of the things that's interesting is that last night we were going back and forth and we were talking about Gasport, my first home that I remember. Bob was older and lived in Lockport and Kenmore. Did you live in Kenmore too?
Yeah, I remember.
Anyway, and Gasport was kind of, for me, my beginning, but Gasport, for those that haven't been there, is in western New York, which is fruit country. There's a lot of fruit trees at one time anyway. And this town, Gasport, it was called Gasport because it was on the Erie Canal before that, I assume. And we still had some barges, although I think they were just tourists, or I'm not sure what they were, but the locks all worked. And so Gasport was a small town, and they had one factory that I'm aware of which made sprayers for these fruit trees. And the family who owned the town, you might say, and owned the business, the Hull family, we went up and down our street. Bob and I last night, we were amazed how many things we went up and down. We remembered the streets, Maplewood Drive we lived on. They wanted to name it Hazelwood Drive, but they
after
mother, yeah, our mother. Her name was Hazel, and she wouldn't let them. That's where I get my modesty from my mother's. Anyway, we named just about every house down and who lived there.
we named all the people.
Named all the people out of our memories. Crazy.
Did
We had one lady
Did you know
named-
people in those houses? I mean, did you know kids or?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah?
we had this White House. It was the biggest house in town. And I don't know how my dad ever sprung for that. But anyway,
Well, the house, that house was, they sold it to him for $5,000, and we had a tennis court and 3-car garage and a driveway that went around the house.
oh, big time.
Yeah, $5,000.
Is that the house that you had the sleeping porch on?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We used to sleep up there and watch the lightning, thunder. And then the winter it snowed on, we'd sleep out in the snow.
I wore Dr. Denton's and just snow in my bed when I wake up in the
Yeah, the
morning.
snow come through the screen all sifted.
But remember, I was 9 years older than he, so that
We never slept at the same time because I was in his social circle.
Aw.
Tough deal.
I mean,
Tough deal.
I was a
But any-
highly developed intellectual by that time. He was going around saying "Dada."
Yeah. He turned down several opportunities to teach at schools, but anyway. Later on, we found out, and you heard me say this last night, that mother liked him best, but my dad liked me
Aw.
because I could add up 2 and 2, and he had problems.
Oh, that's
No, I
good.
readily admit that George was brighter than I. He got
Not brighter, just better in
well, he got
mathematics.
higher grades than I never got high grades. But that thing about mom loved me best is baloney because he was
No,
the
she
so-
never gave me baloney.
when anybody ever came to our house, they saw my parents, and then here's these 2 boys, this 9-year-old who was kind of walking around, plus this little guy with beautiful curly
Aw.
blonde locks that went like this.
Aw.
Oh, it makes you sick, doesn't
And
it?
my hair stick out of his
See, I just try not to think about it. That's all I can do.
So they all said, and then of course when I went away to school at
Oh,
West
that-
Oakwood,
that was a good deal.
You were my mother's darling.
Oh yeah, that was a good deal. I was like an only child then. She used to make hamburger on Thanksgiving because I wouldn't eat turkey.
Oh, no.
But she let me have Wonder Bread.
Oh.
Didn't know about that. But
They had Wonder Bread.
another good one was pineapple and hot dog. Great combination. Another one was coleslaw and mashed potatoes when you stir them up.
Oh,
Is
dear.
everybody happy now?
No, that's horrible.
Did she ever
Anyway, we
get-
can name all these different people along this one street. We had one gal named Florence Reef, and her daughter's name was Elsie, and she used to run her hands through. She's a high school girl, and I'm down here somewhere. And this Florence Reef would back out of her driveway, drive down to the Friends Church on the corner, which is a couple of blocks, park on the wrong side of the street, go in and do whatever she did with the church there, get in the car and back all the way back through.
You mean to avoid turning around?
Yeah. Gas was only 20 cents a gallon. You figure.
She taught Sunday school, and I went, and she advised us against coffin nails.
Oh, that's
Coffin
nails?
or cigarettes.
Oh,
And my mother went into her house one time to see her about something, and she was up on a stepladder taking dishes off the top shelf, throwing them on the floor, breaking them.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Was she Greek?
The reason she did it was because she saved all of her